Okay, all right, let's get started. So, as we know, the EV industry is creating exciting opportunity worldwide. But the real challenge is knowing how to enter the thrive in the fast growing field. And that's exactly what we will explore in the today's session. The latest trends, the key skills, and the opportunity that can help you build a future ready career in EV tech. So, we truly honored to have with us Mr. Ayush Sharma, co-founder and CTO of DIYguru and a researcher in Germany. With his strong technical expertise and global industry experience, he has been guiding students and professionals to prepare for the next wave of EV careers. So, without keeping you waiting, let's begin this exciting session and the gain knowledge directly from the expert himself. Over to you, sir.
Okay, just give me a second. I would start my whiteboard and then I will share my whiteboard with you all, and then I hope you all can see it then. Okay, this is the first time I'm actually using the whiteboard right now. I will just hope that you all can see it. Just confirm, guys, if you all can see my screen. You all can see my whiteboard, right? Just give me a second. This is fine. Perfect. Just can somebody confirm if you all can see my whiteboard?
No, sir.
No?
Sir, it is not yet.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Just
sir.
give me a second. Right now, I think it should be visible to everyone.
Yes, sir. Now.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Sure. I just hope everyone is comfortable with English as the language. If there is anyone who is not able to understand English, just let me know right now. Otherwise, I would only use English as the mode of communication. I hope that is okay for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll start with a very basic idea. With the basic idea that right now we are having about 95 people on board. That's what it is. That should be fine. Yes, so we'll start with the very basic idea. The basic idea what we have is that we have about 90 plus candidate participants in this session. And each one of us who is sitting here in this session is either looking for a job or you're looking for some level of, maybe some level of job promotion, or you're looking for some level of hike, or you're looking for some level of job or basically a career change, right? I don't think any one of you is actually here to Vipin, अगर कोई doubt होगा ना, I'll ask in the end of the session, ठीक है? You can keep your doubts or you can just give me on the message and then we can discuss it at the end. But I don't think any one of you would be sitting here just to learn EV. I actually do not think that any one of you would say that Ayush, मुझे job वगैरह नहीं चाहिए, ये सब चीजें नहीं चाहिए. I'm just here to learn EV now. And that is the main aspect to understand, guys. We are not here to just learn EV because nobody likes to learn for free. किसी को बस ऐसे ही पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता. Everyone wants to get something at the end of the day. And everyone is willing to say that, ठीक है, I'll get either I need to have a job or I need to have a promotion, a hike or so on, right? It means if I am trying to learn EV, now EV also has many segments. EV की भी बहुत सारे वो है. How do we say it? It has many subcategories. In EV, you can go either into the into the research development part, into the service part, into the testing, validation, quality, embedded software, cyber, ADAS, AutoSAR, battery, motor, development, testing, homologation. There are like more than 20-25 segments you can target in terms of the EV. हम उस पर आएंगे, we'll come to that. But what is the most important part to understand? That I am trying to learn EV, which is true. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to learn because I have a specific motive or an aim or a specific goal. Without agenda ke, I'm not learning EV. This is important because most of the time students क्या करते हैं ना? They start the program and they stick to a combination of 2-3 courses, and then they're like, ठीक है, मैंने सीख लिया, I've started learning now what? But they do not really understand that they were learning at the end to get a job or a promotional hike or to make a change in the career. And then they don't prepare themselves in the right way. This is the most important part we need to see. कि अगर मुझे कोई job चाहिए, if I'm looking for a job at the end of the program, my training should also be conducted in the same manner. So let's see how do we go with the top to bottom approach. Now, I don't know how many of you are working professionals, but if you know about how the businesses work, there are 2 ways a business can grow, guys. Either the business grows horizontally or it grows in the vertical direction. Similarly, a candidate can also either grow horizontally or a candidate can grow in the vertical direction. That's true for the candidate as well, in terms of the learning you do. Now, what do I mean by the horizontal part? The horizontal part means, इसको थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनना चाहिए. This is going to be quite an important session. Horizontal as in, like you are good with the battery systems, you are good with the motor system, you are good with the software simulation, you are good with software, you are good with programming. You are trying to learn different things. You don't know anything completely. आपको सब अच्छे से नहीं आता, but आपको सब कुछ थोड़ा आता है. And this is a situation with many people. And this is not a bad situation, okay? It's not कि ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. In fact, if I am working as a scientist in Germany for some 5 years, तो मेरी knowledge भी कहीं ना कहीं ऐसी ही है. I know about BMS, motor, software, charging, validation, and so on, but I cannot say I am perfect in a different segment, in a given segment. ऐसा नहीं मैं किसी में perfect हूँ. So either students tend to go horizontal, और ये हर student के साथ, okay? There is no exception. आपको भी नहीं पता होगा. Even you would not know whether you are in a horizontal direction or you would like to grow in the vertical. Just keep your questions with you guys, ठीक है? एंड में इनको डिस्कस करेंगे. Or you can just post on the chat box. मैं उसको देख लूंगा. But when you go horizontally, I'll try. See, guys, if I speak in English and there are some people who only understand Hindi, I'll try to use a combination, but I will say both in English and Hindi, okay? अगर मैं कुछ हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ, तो मैं उसको इंग्लिश में भी रिपीट करूंगा, right? तो अगर मैं कुछ if I'm saying anything in English, I'll repeat in Hindi and vice versa. So if I'm saying anything in Hindi or English, you're not losing or missing anything. I'm just repeating that. मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ, so don't worry about that, okay? Because कुछ students होते हैं who are not comfortable with English. I'll come to that part also. कि क्यों English हिंदी का क्या scene है? We'll come to that later on. But let's first start with the main part. That either we are going in the horizontal direction or we are trying to learn in the vertical direction. I don't know how many of you are coming from the engineering segment, but technically we call it a delta function. Delta function क्या होता है? Delta function says that it is a constant and then a sudden hike. That's a delta function. That you are learning something. For example, you started with DIYguru. For example, DIYguru का start करते हैं, and then you say, okay, let me start with the essentials. Let me start with then go to advanced. Then I'll go to software. Then I go to the software simulation part. Then I go to embedded. Then hardware. Then testing, and so on, so on. But in between, you would realize that I am better in a certain segment. Now, this is going to be very important. अगर आपको ये नहीं पता चल रहा ना, if you are not able to understand that you are better at a certain segment, it is not a good thing. If you are doing approximately 12 courses with me and you're not able to tell me at the end of the day, ki, Ayush, I am good in these 3 areas, it means there is some problem with you. अगर आप 12 कोर्सेज कर रहे हो और आपको ये नहीं पता चल रहा कि मुझे इनमें से 2 या 3 में मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ या बहुत अच्छी हूँ, then कुछ प्रॉब्लम है आपके वे ऑफ लर्निंग में. That is very important because that is where we are going to get the delta. Like example देता हूँ. You are very good with the technical part. You are learning a lot. You are a very hardworking student. सब अच्छा है, okay? You are a perfect candidate. सब अच्छे से कर रहा. But then you gradually realize कि I am better with, let's say, electrical based simulation using MATLAB. आपको interest आ रहा है. You are getting interested. You are now more interested towards MATLAB based simulations. And then you realize कि यार मुझे ज़्यादा मजा आ रहा है MATLAB करने में. I'm getting more. I'm enjoying doing MATLAB practice. I'm not saying about theoretical MATLAB. वो सब बेकार है, useless एक time के बाद. I'm more comfortable and I'm enjoying doing actual MATLAB simulations. Then you know that this is gonna be my first delta. Delta is in I know how things work, but I am better in MATLAB. ठीक है, you start doing things again. After MATLAB, we go with, let's say, ANSYS. And you say, I am also getting comfortable with ANSYS, but not a lot. This is a smaller delta for you. This is not the first biggest delta. This is a smaller delta. You know ANSYS. I don't know how many of you know about ANSYS. ANSYS, हम use क्यों करते हैं? For example, अगर हमें vehicle की thermal analysis करनी, we want to see how the thermal temperature gradient changes in a battery pack. किस तरीके से उसका, for example, cooling system work कर रहा है, how the vehicle dynamics is working, how the friction losses are there. अगर मैं drop test कर रहा हूँ, pressure test and all, when we do in the 3D manner, that is why we use ANSYS. Okay, ज़्यादा technical में नहीं जाएंगे. I'm not trying to teach you anything right now. I'm just trying to tell you that how can you make your career path here. So you say, ठीक है, I am doing the ANSYS. But I'm not very good with that, but I'm still better in ANSYS than other software. This is my second delta. Okay. कई students क्या करते हैं? यहीं पे रह जाते हैं. I'm telling you guys, almost 40% students यहीं पे, they will literally just lie here. वो यहीं पे बैठे रहेंगे. Because they do not have the confidence to go into the actual development part. Students will come to me and say, Ayush, we are very good with MATLAB. But if I ask them to work on the MATLAB development, they say, नहीं sir, अभी तो मैं fundamental सीख रहा हूँ, अभी मैं essentials ही सीख रहा हूँ. But that's not really the case. अगर हम सिर्फ essential and fundamentals में रहेंगे, if we only stick to the basics part, we are not going to create the delta. And if we do not have the delta, that is the biggest problem. Trust me, without delta, you are not able to impress others. हम नहीं impress कर सकते. We don't have anything to show. So let's say your first delta is coming with MATLAB, second delta with ANSYS. And gradually you are moving up now, you are getting smarter, you are more intelligent and stuff. आप धीरे धीरे सीख रहे हो. And then you start doing the embedded part. What I have observed, that there are too many job opportunities in embedded, but students are really not able to work in this domain because embedded is difficult. Okay? Because when I talk about embedded, we are not talking about Raspberry Pi at all. We are talking about ARM Cortex specifically. Okay? So when we talk about the ARM Cortex things, we talk about the embedded things. It's quite difficult, but you know कि embedded बहुत ज़रूरी है. If you are an engineer, electrical or electronic engineer, embedded is very crucial. You start with the embedded. It takes time, but you realize that embedded is very important. And even if you are not interested in embedded, आपका मन नहीं है करने का, because difficult चीजों का मन किसी का नहीं करता. No one likes to do difficult things. Still, you are trying to build your career in embedded because you know it's a wonderful field. You make embedded as your best possible delta, and this is an intentional delta. Okay, थोड़ा समझने का try करना guys. MATLAB was your organic delta. Organic delta is in खुद से आ गया, मैंने किया and I'm enjoying it. I'm working on MATLAB. I'm enjoying MATLAB. I'm comfortable with MATLAB. ANSYS, okay, I have to practice a bit. I'm not very good. So MATLAB is your organic delta. Means यहाँ पर ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी. Automatically, if you practice more, you will get better. But embedded might be the domain where you have to get a forced delta. Delta का यही sign होता है, right? Forced delta. मेरी spelling writing में मत जाना करें, just ignore that. Forced delta as in you are actually trying hard to build this as your skill set because you know this is important. Because if you are good with the embedded, you are good with the electronic design, with the development, with the scripting, because naturally with embedded C also comes. You are good with the testing. You are good with the hardware system, and then you can go towards the AutoSAR area also. Or अगर आप कुछ ज़्यादा ही intelligent हो, you can go towards the digital engineering. I don't know how many of you know about digital engineering, but digital engineering is the future of engineering. 54% of the expenses in our country in engineering alone is in digital only. Okay. So you know that embedded has a good future. So you create a delta in embedded. And now you are very comfortable. Why you are very comfortable? Because you are very confident. Why you are confident? Because you have one delta which is developed on its own, that is the MATLAB. One answer you did as a backup, not very comfortable, but embedded, you really trained yourself. Students who do not have these two things struggle a lot. And they will always struggle. To be very honest, they will struggle. Because actually building a delta is working hard to build a skill set. That is the most difficult part if you want to go into some skill development. And we have to do it, guys. अभी हर बच्चे के लिए अलग होगा, okay? Every candidate, every professional, every student will be having a different map. We call it the competency map. And this competency map is going to be very unique. If there are 500 different students, there will be 500 different competency maps. I'll come to specific part, R&D, EV, battery charging, embedded. We'll come to that. But I'm trying to show you the big picture here. Guys, अगर कोई बीच में doubt है, then I think you can just post it on the chat box. I'll answer that. या फिर you can ask the question at the end of the session. ठीक है? It would be much better. Because if मैं बीच में interrupt होऊंगा ना, then मेरा flow break करेगा, and then it would be slightly difficult for me to catch up again. So just put your question in the chat box or just ask it at the end of the session. I'll answer it, okay? But I'm showing you the big picture, guys. इसको कहीं लिखना है लिख लो. But this is very important because at the end of the day, we have to provide placement support to our students. I got info from my team that almost 20-25 job opportunities are just lying there. Students apply नहीं कर पा रहे. Why students are not able to apply? Because they do not have the expertise. And we need to build that expertise. Now, to build that expertise, you need to work on three main things. First, you need to be very good at the engineering level. Now, when I say engineering level, it means ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that you want to be a very good charging engineer, but you know nothing about EV systems. This cannot happen. It's not कि you are saying, Ayush, I really want to be very good with charging. मुझे charging motor में बहुत अच्छे से काम करना है, but मुझे बाकी चीजों के बारे में बिल्कुल नहीं पता. I'm stupid in other domains. This is not how it will work. Without going horizontal, you cannot go into the vertical skill sets, right? अगर वो baseline ही नहीं बनेगा, how will you make the main skill sets and expertise? You cannot do it. So you have to be good with overall engineering. If you want to be good with embedded, you need to be good with electronic systems first. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that that you say, Ayush, I want to be a very good embedded engineer, but आप मुझसे electronics मत पूछो, मुझे नहीं पता how the FET devices work. Because if you don't know how FET devices work, you will not be able to work on on systems like duty cycle and the switching of the electronic circuits. आप काम ही नहीं कर पाओगे gates के ऊपर. If you're not able to work on the gates, then आप क्या ही करोगे embedded के ऊपर, right? Actual embedded is about controlling the duty cycle, the switching of the electronic devices, the efficiency, the power consumption, and all those things. So you have to be good with overall engineering. ये बहुत जरूरी है. कई बच्चे क्या करते हैं, बोलते हैं सर मुझे मैकेनिकल मॉडलिंग में ही जाना है. There are many students who are like, sir, I want to go with mechanical modeling. You train me in SolidWorks and ANSYS. If you want to get training on SolidWorks and ANSYS, then get the training of SolidWorks and ANSYS. Why do you want to get the training on EV? Because EV comprises of 10 different domains. At least you should be good with the overall understanding of the engineering. तो आपको engineering के साथ comfortable होना पड़ेगा. Second, you need to know what is your main interest area. No, my handwriting is very bad. Just ignore that. Now, interest area is very, very crucial. Why it is very crucial? Because if you do not have interest, then you will get something like this. The ANSYS-based delta, where you do not have interest at all. Now, is this session focused on student? No, it's not. It's not like that. It's not focused on student, but I am trying to cover one by one how things can move on, guys. Okay, you have to be slightly patient with me because यहाँ से मैं working professionals की तरफ जाऊँगा, and then I will move towards the service repair segment, workshop, creating your own business, and then we will move towards ADAS, auto service. We'll cover all those things. But whatever I'm telling you right now is valid for every scenario, whether you're a working professional or a student or all, right? So interest area is very important. For example, there are many people who are studying in DIYguru not because they want to learn something, but they want to have their own business. Let's say you want to open your own charging station business. You want to work on the charging station business? Thanks, Rohit, for your question. Now, I'm just reading your question, guys. I'll answer that shortly. You want to work on the charging station business, but आपको पता ही नहीं है कि charging का integration किस तरीके से work करेगा. So we don't want that. Your interest should be clear. Your engineering background should be clear. And at the same time, your current expertise should also be clear. Now, this is very important. I'll take your example only, Rohit, okay, to explain this current expertise. Now, for example, Rohit, you just said I'm working on repair service, but I struggle with VCU programming and integration. Okay, so let's say you're working on the EV service and diagnostics. Okay, but you are struggling with ECU, VCU, vehicle control unit could be both the plus the integration level. Now you know what is your current expertise, that I can work on EV diagnostics. You know your interest area, I want to work on the ECU programming, and you know what you really want to achieve at the end of the day. If there are 100 candidates, 100 professionals in this session, अगर यहाँ पे 100 बच्चे बैठे हुए हैं, everyone should be able to write these three answers: my interest area, my current expertise, and my aim. अगर आप ये नहीं लिख पा रहे हो, it means the understanding level is itself not good, because most of the students understanding level पर ही struggle करते हैं, guys. Once you know things, जब आपको चीजें आने लग जाती है, you are able to apply for the jobs. आज तक हमने ऐसा बच्चा नहीं देखा जिसको चीजें आने लग गई है but वो apply नहीं कर पा रहा. There has to be some level of problem in the understanding level itself. So if you are actually serious about my session, just take a minute or so and try to write these three things for yourself, guys. मैं एक बार फिर से लिख देता हूँ, because my next session will be entirely based on 3 points. What are those points? What is my interest right now? मैं क्या करना चाह रहा हूँ? What is my current expertise? मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, right? What I can do right now, what I want to do, what I can do, and what I want to achieve at the end of the day. Now, my interest and aim would be different, guys. Interest क्या हो गया? I have interest in VCU programming, but aim क्या है कि मुझे vehicle integrate करके उसकी programming करके उसको operational बनाना है. So the aim and interest would be different here. Perfect. If I'm going too fast, guys, just let me know. ठीक है, मेरे पास बोलने के लिए बहुत कुछ होता है. I have a lot to speak, and that's why I have to speak much faster. अगर कुछ, if you're missing out something, just keep posting your question, guys. ठीक है, मैं इनमें सारे questions consider करूँगा. Just keep posting your questions. Perfect. ठीक है. Now let's cover different segments of the EV system. ठीक है. Now this is going to be strictly on the career development part. Let's cover different segments of the EV system. And then one by one, we'll see what do we need to do if we want to work in that domain. I'm sorry, sorry, Anil, I have to mute you, man, because in between that, there will be some background noise. Let's highlight some of the key areas within the EV. And I think most of you would be able to relate कि हम कौन-कौन से areas में इसमें काम करना चाह रहे हैं. Many of you would be willing to work on the battery systems. I'll tell you what exactly we need to do on the battery systems. Many of you would be willing to work on the motor technology. Many of you would be willing to go into the software simulation only. कि सर मुझे simulation करना है और कुछ नहीं. I just want to focus on the simulation part. Or you want to work on the charging system. इसको थोड़ा सा seriously लेना guys, because at the end of the day we are going to talk about each of these areas. Okay. What else am I missing here? Charging system, battery technology. Let's work on the research and development. That's a good answer, yes. Service and diagnostics. India में बहुत ज़्यादा है. Service and diagnostics is a very big domain. What else? Okay, I'm missing out something very important. That's this. Okay, the retrofitment will come under service. Prabhu, thermal management will come under battery. I'll come to that part. I'm talking about the domains. I'm not talking about specific areas, okay? And we have the embedded system. We also have one thing, जो थोड़ा सा recently start हुआ है, that is digital engineering. Okay. And with simulation, we can mention modeling also. Modeling and simulation. If there is anything else I'm missing, guys, just write on the chat box. Okay. Okay. Powertrain is also good. Powertrain is a good answer because powertrain is slightly different from individual subsystems. We have powertrain. And with powertrain, we can also say vehicle quality and stuff. Other thing, AutoSAR, ADAS, they come under digital engineering. I think AutoSAR will also come under embedded and digital slightly, because at the end of the day, you are making different layers within the vehicle with the AutoSAR, and ADAS, so I think digital engineering ka part hai, because it is purely working on the data we going to the cloud and all. So let's try to work on this. For the next half an hour, we are going to focus on this area. It's a good answer. You're saying design, but design is something that will come under simulation and modeling. Solar is actually a good answer. Solar is something which is a good answer. Solar can come under energy systems. Or what we can also do is, instead of battery system, we can say battery or energy system. Right? Because in energy system, we have solar and all those things. कुछ और मिस हो रहा है. Battery energy also come under the battery systems only, right? Battery energy system. I think we have covered most of the areas now. Battery, energy, motor, charging, simulation, modeling, service, diagnostic, R&D, embedded, digital, powertrain. I think we have covered more of it. Almost most of it. Okay, perfect. Now let's go into each of these areas one by one. थोड़ा सा technical होगा guys. I hope ज़्यादा boring now. Let's work with the battery system first. Now in battery, इसको थोड़ा सा big picture की तरफ देखते हैं. Instead of battery, let's start with the energy system. In energy system, we have battery. इसको थोड़ा ध्यान से देखना guys, ठीक है? Because this will cover the entire career map of energy system. मैं जो लिख रहा हूँ, I won't explain it a lot because the session will be otherwise too long. But जो भी मैं लिख रहा हूँ, whatever I'm writing, just follow that carefully because this will cover the entire career map also. If you're looking to make a career in energy system, you can either go into the battery or you can go into solar. Solar के अलावा we can say green energy. Or you can go into alternative Alternative के बदले we can say hydrogen, because hydrogen is now coming as a different segment. Okay. एक layer नीचे जाते हैं now. Let's go one layer down. Okay, now we are talking about the main skill sets we are covering. In battery system, either you work at the cell level, or you work at the module level, or you work at the pack level. Cell level छोड़ दो, forget cell level. Cell level is only at the research level, guys, okay? In India, we don't have much of cell level. In fact, in most of the areas, we do not have much of cell level because it is very research oriented. Cell level requires fabrication, वो एक अलग domain है, okay? So I will not focus on the cell level battery engineering as of now. That is a very niche area. उसके लिए you need to do some research, masters. Let's say I have done my doctorate, so मैं जा सकता हूँ and stuff like that. Cell level is quite niche. मैं नहीं कह रहा आप नहीं कर सकते. You can always work in the cell level, but I will not cover cell level because it's hardly 0.5% within the battery systems because it's very research specific and very niche. Primarily, we work on the module level or we work on the pack level. Now let's work on the pack level and module level पे क्या चीजें common है? What are the common areas when we talk about module and pack? And whatever I'm telling you right now, we are going to do all of these things, okay? We have thermal. What else we can do? We have cooling. We have the pressure-based analysis. We have now some more important things are coming, guys. Algorithms. Chalo, thermal I can understand. You can follow what is thermal, cooling, pressure. What about algorithm? Algorithm is for those people who are willing to program the BMS. So you can call it as BMS. Because the most important part of BMS is algorithm only. Students say, I want to work in BMS, but they are not good with programming. You cannot work with BMS. Because BMS का काम ही यही है that you are actually doing the programming of your battery pack system. So you need to be good with algorithm. So thermal के लिए, cooling के लिए, pressure, for that you need to be good with the software simulation part. The software simulation part is more about, how do you say, CAE, CAD, then MATLAB. In CAE, it is mainly like ANSYS. And there's such a huge domain, guys, कि अगर मैं explain करूँगा एक चीज, if I explain every single thing, then आपको एक महीने तक मेरे साथ ही session करना पड़ेगा. You would need to have a 1 month session with me altogether. There's so many layers into that. But I'm just giving you a brief idea how things work, okay, at the skill level. And then if you go beyond that, when you're working with the BMS, you need to target the embedded. Specifically, you need to target the embedded. Embedded comes under two parts. In the BMS also, it comes under HIL or it comes under SIL. HIL is the hardware in loop. SIL is the software in loop. Software in loop is basically the scripting part where you do the embedded C. Hardware in loop is basically the hardware part where you are working with the different components of the battery. For example, you're using sensors, you're using the embedded board, controller, and all those things. So in batteries, more or less, you are working on these areas. You are either controlling the battery, you are optimizing the battery system, you are developing the battery solutions, but overall, you should be good enough with at least one software where you can do the simulations, and you should be good with the hardware. Both of them. अगर आप दोनों में अच्छे नहीं हो, it will be difficult for you to work on the BMS, or it will be difficult for you to work on the battery pack, or you will be working as a junior engineer, to be honest. अगर आप सिर्फ एक में ही अच्छे हो, you are saying I'm only good with the thermal, but आप thermal में क्या करोगे? What will you do in thermal? Either you will do the testing on the software simulation, or you will build something. So either you are restricting yourself to the software part, or you are doing the hardware part also. That is the best combination, that I can build something on the software and I can do something on the hardware part and I can combine the two. That is my HILSI. Okay. So this is what we are doing in the battery pack level and so on. So when you say thermal, सिर्फ thermal मत बोलो. Many students are writing thermal, many people are writing thermal. But what exactly you are doing thermal management? Are you planning to build the program for thermal management? Are you planning to build a system for the thermal management? Or are you planning to do some software simulation for the thermal management? Or you're planning to develop the hardware for the thermal? What exactly you want to do on the thermal management? That is why I'm saying it is very important to be good with the overall engineering. In the beginning, I told you, right? You have to be good with the overall engineering level. This one. Because if you're not good with the overall engineering, आप समझ ही नहीं पाओगे. You will not be able to understand what exactly I do in the thermal part. Okay, this is just one single example. In solar, it is quite restricted. You have to be good with specific solar cells. So there's not a lot to do in solar. Not to do as in there is kind of restricted domain. बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें इधर-उधर जाने के लिए नहीं है. There's a very defined path. In the hydrogen, I would suggest don't go for hydrogen until unless you are a working professional and your company is going for hydrogen. As a student, don't go for hydrogen right now because it is very research oriented, and I don't think anyone will give you permission to build your own hydrogen cells. That is very dangerous, and you have to get a lot of validation, authorization, approvals. If you are a working professional and your company wants you to work on hydrogen, then only go for the hydrogen. Otherwise, hydrogen पे ज़्यादा time लगाओगे as a student, as a learner, won't help you. चलो थोड़ा fast करने का try करते हैं. Next we go to the motor technology. With the motor technology only, in fact, with the motor technology as well, the concept is gonna be the same. HIL plus the SIL. This concept of HIL plus SIL will be same for every domain, guys. Students who are not able to target HIL or SIL will struggle. If you are not good at any one of these, अगर आप दोनों में से किसी में अच्छे नहीं हो, आपको बहुत प्रॉब्लम होने वाली है. Either you have to be very good with the software simulation part. Either if you're working on the, for example, you're working on the charging system, or you're working on the battery system or the motor control system, you have to be very good with the software part. If you only want to focus on the SIL, you have to tell me, Ayush, I can design every motor type you want. I can design my own motor controller systems. I know how to do the SOC control. I know how to do different control algorithms. You should be very good with software simulations. Or you have to be very good with the hardware systems, where you say that I know how these things integrate together. जहाँ पर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हार्डवेयर पे काम करना पड़ता है. As an engineer, build a combination of both. If you just remember this thing, HIL plus SIL, guys, your whole career planning is ready. Trust me, ऐसा कोई student exist ही नहीं करता who is good with HIL plus SIL and that student is struggling with jobs. There is not even a single student. There are 90 students. मुझे बता दो कि सर मैं दोनों में अच्छा हूँ, जॉब नहीं मिल रही, मैं अभी हायर कर लूँगा in the next 10 minutes in DIYguru itself. But you have to be good with these things. Now the problem is, students say I want to work in the let's say I want to work in the battery motor charging control. If you want to work into the motor system and you don't know how to build the algorithm for the motors, you don't know how the embedded system for the motor works, you don't know how the motor communication works, you have never worked with CAN. If you don't know these things, then you have nothing to offer to the company. That is the most important part. So don't think about more motor. Rather think at the engineering level. I want to develop the hardware, or I want to develop the software, or I want to develop the integration. What exactly I want to aim for. Same for the charging systems. In the charging system, if you don't know how the charging communication works, how the charge control takes place, how the power electronics of charging is working, you will not be able to focus on the charging. Now let's talk about the service and diagnostics. Now service and diagnostics is a slightly different area. Why? Because in service and diagnostics, there are two types of personas. Personas क्या होता है guys? For example, I am a persona. Persona as in Ayush Sharma is the co-founder CTO. He has done doctorate and Germany में बैठा हुआ, he is doing research. He's a one persona. Similarly, there is one person वो भी पढ़ाई कर रहा है, he's looking for job. He's looking for job. There is another person. Similarly, in service and diagnostics, we have two different personas. If I talk about service and diagnostic system, about service and diagnostics, you either are an engineer or you are at the technician level. If you are at a technician level, you don't need to do the engineering part. कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. But if you want to go into the engineering, you have to use the same path again and again. Software, hardware, integration, testing, whatever engineers do. So when you say I want to work in the diagnostics or service, you have to ask yourself, am I talking as a technician right now? क्या मैं as a technician की तरह बात कर रहा हूँ? Or am I talking as an engineer right now? This is very important. And we are again going to the same question now. What exactly I want to, where is that question? कहाँ गया? Yes, what exactly I want to do, what I'm able to do, and what I want to achieve. If I'm a technician, अगर मैं एक सर्विस टेक्नीशियन हूँ और मुझे डायग्नोस्टिक्स में काम करना है, then मैं इंजीनियरिंग की पढ़ाई नहीं करूँगा. एंड टेक्नीशियन लेवल्स की रिक्वायरमेंट्स बहुत ज्यादा है मार्केट में, बहुत ज्यादा है. इनफैक्ट इंजीनियर से कम 3 टाइम्स ज्यादा है. एक्चुअली उनकी सैलरी थोड़ी डिफरेंट उसमें चलती है, डिफरेंट रेंज में चलती है, बट टेक्नीशियन रिक्वायरमेंट्स आर कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट. एंड टेक्नीशियंस की रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत ज्यादा है मार्केट में, बहुत ज्यादा है. बट देन आई कैन नॉट आस्क यू टू डू सॉफ्टवेयर सिमुलेशन एज अ टेक्नीशियन. व्हाई वुड आई आस्क यू टू वर्क ऑन द सॉफ्टवेयर सिमुलेशन? स्टूडेंट्स यही कंफ्यूजन में फंस जाते हैं. Student as in guys, even if you have 15 years experience, you are still a student to me, ठीक है? So don't get hurt कि आयुष मुझे student क्यों कह रहा है. Even if you have 20 years experience, you are still a student to me. So students actually struggle with these questions, and this is the most important part. If you are a technician and you want to work into the diagnostic part, you have a different career path. You work only with hardware. You don't work with the software. You do testing, retrofitment, validation. But if you are looking for an engineering part, your story is different. अभी किसी ने वो कहा था कि सर retrofitment भी अच्छा डोमेन है. As an engineer, why would you go for retrofitment? Retrofitment technicians करेंगे, engineers क्यों करेंगे retrofitment? Engineers will develop the system for the retrofitment. And there is not even a single system, there is not even a single engineering system जहाँ पे software, embedded, and mechanical the combination now. Not even a single system. Every single system existing in this world right now is a combination of embedded, mechanical, and software. In the automotive industry, हर system में ये तीनों का combination है. You said I want to go to AutoSAR ADAS. आप काम ही नहीं कर सकते AutoSAR में. You cannot work in AutoSAR until unless you are good with the mechanical part. Because the main role of AutoSAR is to make the vehicle mechanics in the layer-based system. You cannot work on the AutoSAR if you're not good with software. Because AutoSAR में तो है ही BSW, right? Basic software system. How would you work on AutoSAR if you don't have knowledge of the software? And without embedded, आप क्या thermal बनाओगे? You cannot do it. The challenge is when we talk to the students, when I talk to you and I say कि ठीक है, you want to go for a job, tell me what you can do. And you should have the answer to that. कि I can develop this. Talk in that way. I can develop this. Now, if you know I can develop this, that's all what you need to do. हमें यही करना है, right? हमें यही सीखना है in the end. I can develop this system. I can, if I'm only going for the software, then you have to be very good with the software because software is not very difficult. But as an engineer, try to learn to develop things, guys, okay? This is very important. And that is only possible with the HIL and SIL combination. The whole world is revolving around that. अब क्या हो रहा है? Recently, guys, I talked to the R&D head of HCL Tech and some other companies, and they told me how the digital engineering system is working. So what they're doing is now they have a battery system. Now see how the companies are growing right now. ये वो चीजें जो कंपनी अभी कर रही है right now. This is the most latest advanced thing. Okay, they have a battery system. They have a charging system. कोई भी system ले लो, does not matter. जिस भी फील्ड में जाना चाह रहे हो आप, ओके, बैटरी, चार्जर, मोटर, डजंट मैटर टू मी गाइस. कोई भी सिस्टम ले लो एंड यू हैव द हार्डवेयर. आपने उसका हार्डवेयर प्रोटोटाइप बनाया. यू हैव द सॉफ्टवेयर वेयर यू आर डूइंग द सिमुलेशन पार्ट. यू हैव द सेंसर्स कनेक्टेड. You take the data from the sensors, you send it over the cloud, and then you optimize your software simulation, and then you improve your parameters. This is called digital engineering. अब इसमें क्या यूनिक है? There is nothing new in this. If you know how to work on hardware, if you know how to develop the software part, at least engineering software, guys. I'm not asking you to go into CSIT में. ये नहीं कह रहा programming करना सीख जाओ. but at least embedded software is something you should be knowing, right? If you know how to do the sensor integration, sensor का data ही लेना नहीं आता तो क्या ही करोगे? So if you know how to work on this sensor integration, data acquisition, hardware part, you know how to go into the digital engineering. And digital engineering, एक बार सर्च करके देख लो how important digital engineering is right now. It is literally the future. So the answers are right in front of us. आपको मेरे से पूछने की जरूरत नहीं, आप चैट जीपीटी से पूछ लो. Actually, वो आपको सिखा नहीं पाएगा, but it will tell you how important digital engineering is right now. ADAS, AutoSAR सब इसी से निकलेगा. ADAS is purely automated driving assistance system. What companies are doing right now is they are taking the data from the vehicle. The vehicle is on the road right now. Vehicle road पे चल रहा है. There is nothing new on that. The vehicle is there on the road, but the change is the vehicle is connected with sensors, and the sensor is giving data to the cloud. The engineers are sitting in the control system and they're taking the data from the cloud, and then they are using their own SIL to improve the parameters, and then in the next model of the vehicle, they will make it better because now they have actual data for the vehicle. This is what digital engineering is. अगर इसको break down करें हम, if you break it down further, it is again breaking down into software, hardware, plus one new thing is there, data. But if you're not good at hardware and software, what will you do with the data? So we cannot jump to data without going into hardware. We cannot jump to hardware without going into software. We cannot jump to software without going to be good with the engineering. And then वही बात आके starting से guys, that there has to be a horizontal and then there are deltas. Doesn't matter whether you are learning quantum computing, AI, data science, or EV. This concept is gonna be the same for the rest of your life. Okay, now I'm very tired. बहुत बोला मैंने. It's time to get your questions, guys. Please feel free to ask questions. I'm just telling you one last thing. If you have enrolled in DIY or you're planning to enroll into DIY, whatever I'm telling you right now is exactly what you're going to do. There's going to be hardware, there's going to be software, there's going to be programming, there's going to be embedded, there is going to be sensor integration, data acquisition, ANSYS, Altair, Hypermesh. Altair is something which will come in the later section, ADAS, AutoSAR, everything what I'm saying, because this is the whole vision, right? Chalo, great. We'll come to the questions now. If you can just unmute yourself and ask, it would be perfect. Just unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay, somebody has raised your hand. Bolo, you can just unmute yourself. You can also post your question on the chat box, guys. मैं उसको भी answer करूँगा, ठीक है?
Hey Ayush, I'm from Repero. Actually, we are already running workshop. I had a discussion already in past, but didn't get much of help that time. I'm interested to know how do I get involved into the ecosystem? Means like we are completely into ICE, internal combustion engine. We have been working for like 10 years in this industry. And we are more interested, like somebody asked, retrofitting one part, another is diagnostic and servicing, battery charging systems. So these all are ecosystem where we can contribute. I'm more interested to know how to get into it and what are the funding through the government. We have that possibilities. These are all the areas I wanted to explore and get guidance upon. Thank you, Ayush.
Thank you very much. Guys, first of all, ये part थोड़ा सा boring होता है question answers का, but I would request you to stay in the call because generally you understand what people are doing, okay? So for those who are not having any question, try to stay there because उससे पता चलता है what people are actually trying to do. Okay, that's a very interesting question, Repero. There are two ways you can work on this. If you have some centers already, then DIYguru can collaborate with you as a company partner. That is one possibility. Okay, you do one thing. You take my okay, I can see you have some service centers. Okay, yeah, I think there are certain possibilities if you have centers with that. I'm sharing my my email ID with you. You send me your company profile. Okay, and I'll ask my team to schedule one direct call with me, or maybe with somebody else from the team, and then we can discuss, because we are also looking for a service partner to go into EV service repair solutions, because we are getting a lot of requirements, especially from Dubai, Saudi region and all. So just send me an email share something about your company. How much experience do you have? And then I think a strong collaboration can always be done with DIYguru in terms of EV service repair. And if there are other students who are willing to work in this segment, then I can ask them also to collaborate with us. Exactly, in terms of service partnership, I think Prabhu is also working in Saudi or Dubai. So then we can have our joint meeting, and then this can be done. So you send me your email, prepare okay, and I will ask my students also if they're willing to be a part. I'm already working on this, Prabhu. I got to know about from the CEO Avinash about your query. I'm talking to a couple of partners here to start something in Dubai. You give me a few days, okay? I'll come back to you because I've done one collaboration with the Ministry of Education in Saudi. So Prabhu, maybe that will help in the Dubai sector. So I'll come back to you, Prabhu. Okay, I'm waiting for some response from the ministry in Saudi. Once we get that, Prabhu, then only we can have a training program in Dubai or Saudi, because then we need to be authorized by the ministry. So we have already done that part. You give me a couple of days, Prabhu. Okay, I'll come back to you. I know you have been following that on this
Thank you. All right,
requirement.
sir. Not bad. Thank you.
Yeah, just give me 2-3 days max. I'm doing a lot of work in this in the back end. And I'll wait for your email, repair. Okay. Perfect. I'll look at the questions in the chat box, guys. Then maybe I will ask someone to unmute. उसके बाद हम बात कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? I'll just go through the questions. One question: does this program cover both 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler? Yes, it will cover. In fact, I think from 24th to 29th in Pune, I don't know if you follow DIYguru. We worked with the EV 4-wheeler segment for about, मुझे नहीं पता कितने hours की training थी वो, but 110% we have 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler combined. Because 4-wheeler में थोड़ा खर्चा हुआ था, to be honest. उसका एक single scanner हमें करीब 2.5-2 लाख का पड़ा था, but we cover the 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler. In fact, it's important to cover the 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler. So for sure we do it. You can take some specific details, Anand, okay, from the team, what they are doing in 4-wheeler. They can connect you with Rahul and he will tell you. Mayur is saying MATLAB Simulink. Under which sector, Mayur? MATLAB Simulink primarily comes under the domains of those companies which are working towards electrical solutions, those who are working toward designing, validation, optimization. MATLAB Simulink is mainly for those companies. For example, अगर मैं छोटे startup की बात करूँ, if I talk about big companies also, those sectors which are coming under the design part of the vehicle segment. Generally, you do it for the electrical systems, because in mechanical system, you do either Altair or ANSYS or COMSOL for the 3D analysis. So generally, in most of the cases, it come under electrical, what would you say? If it come under electrical simulation part. So yeah, that's where this segment of MATLAB Simulink comes. Okay, next question. EV service technicians a career making growing structure. EV technician में career, Rishabh, if you want to work as a technician, इसमें बहुत कुछ करने का नहीं है. Okay, if you want to work as a technician, there is not a lot you need to do. But if you want to open a business in the technician level, then actually you have to send me an email, just like I asked what you say, repair also, that you have to send me an email to if you want to work on the startup part, if you want to build a startup. But अगर ऋषभ आपको technician में job के लिए देखना है, you don't have to worry a lot. It will not take more than 6 or 8 weeks, because there are already many companies who are looking for technicians. Just talk to one of my team members and say, sir, I'm looking for a technician job, and they will give you something for 6 to 8 weeks, and that is more than enough. इससे ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है ऋषभ. 6 से 8 ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है if you want to work as a technician. Okay, that should be more than enough. Okay. Rehan says, I want to pursue an embedded engineer. I want a roadmap. Currently learning microprocessor, microcontroller, and C language. This is a good start, Rehan. If you are already doing microprocessor control in C language, it is good. Now the next step would be which controller. Okay, अगर आप 8051 पे काम कर रहे हैं, if you're working on PIC 8051, stop that. Nobody is using that. NVIDIA have launched AI computer, so 8051 तो बहुत पुराना हो गया. Go for the ARM Cortex for sure. We also work with ARM Cortex. It is one of the most sophisticated controllers. Next step, Rohan, go for the ARM Cortex. Understand how to build solution with ARM Cortex. 6 महीने तक सिर्फ और सिर्फ प्रैक्टिस करोगे. हाँ, don't learn anything. कुछ भी theoretical level पे मत करो. Start with basic examples. How do you read data? How do you collect a light, LED resistor with ARM Cortex? Okay, you can take STM microelectronics and the board, the development board, करीब 3000 का आता है, I guess. You can take that board, or you can, if you are part of DIYguru, then DIYguru will give you the kit, entire kit on embedded, or you can come to the workshop. I think if you are eligible for the kit, you'll get. Otherwise, you can come to the workshop. Otherwise, अगर खुद से भी सीखना ना रहे हम, go for the ARM Cortex thing. And guys, for everyone, if you are planning to go into embedded, master ARM Cortex. Possible ही नहीं है that you are a good ARM Cortex developer and you are not getting job. कोई नहीं सकता. मैं खुद हायर कर लूंगा. I'm telling you, it's a recorded call. बाद में दिखा देना. Possible ही नहीं है. If you are good with C language, go with the ARM Cortex. Okay, that's the next one. Okay, perfect. Ayush Pandey, what skill should electrical BTech student find job in 2026? Okay, if you are graduating in 2026, Ayush, then try to learn something related to, okay, just a second. Sorry, and I'll have to mute it between. If you are a student right now, Ayush, you are going to graduate in 2026, my suggestion would be, you have a very good chance to master something. Master क्या होता है? That I know everything about that. Because you have 1 full year. Your delta can be very strong, Ayush. So for electrical, there are many areas: PCB designing, chip designing, semiconductor, something. Embedded is also out of that. Simulation, sensor control. There are so many domains. You can also go to the engineering analytics. AI obviously hai. In terms of the EV system, you can do a lot, Ayush, if you're graduating in 2026. But make sure in 1 year, pick something where you want to be a complete master. This is very important, Ayush. Okay. And it's सबके लिए, guys. If you are a student right now and you have more than 1 year for yourself, do something where you can be a very strong master. This is very important. Okay. Otherwise, आप अगर basic level की चीजों को सीखोगे, that's not good. For working professional, it is okay कि मैंने चीजें सीख ली and now I'm going for the jobs, switch and all. But if you're a student, कुछ ऐसा करो where you can invest at least 1 year, बहुत serious level पे, so that you can really master that segment. कुछ भी pick कर सकता है. Start with MATLAB, that's fine, and then go to the embedded part, that's fine. But do with mastery. ऐसा होना चाहिए कि अगर मैं आयुष कुछ भी task दूंगा, you should be able to do that. Just get that confidence in you, and you're actually good enough. Okay. Saurabh, you are working in maritime industry as an ETO. I have more than 18 experience. My work involved electronic. I just needed some suitable field to follow based on my experience. You can stay in this experience, in this domain, Saurabh. But if you are working with electronic system repair, you don't need to go for 12-month postgraduate program and all. Saurabh, you should talk to my team and say, I just need 6 to 8 weeks of training where I only want to work on the hardware. If you have 18 years of experience, आप कुछ नया क्यों सीखोगे? Right? Why would you invest your time to learn something from scratch? I don't want to tell you कि आप दोबारा से मेरा पूरा program करो. You don't need to do that, okay? Just ask my team to give you something very specific to electronic, that to only hardware level, not software. Okay, this is what you need to tell to my team, Saurabh.
Yes.
You don't need to go for graduation at all. 12 महीने देने की जरूरत नहीं है. 2 months of course certification with hardware in the electrification EV segment is good enough. And Saurabh, then it also depends on the job part. If you are working right now, you talk to your seniors also, talk to your HR that what exactly I need to do if I'm working in electronics. And they will come to you and say, okay, Saurabh, ye cheeze kar lo, this will be good. And then you talk to my team, ki mujhe ye karna, because it's a big domain. When
Yes.
you talk about the shipping industry, chips and all, then electronic system में बहुत चीजें आती है. You have the PLC, you have a lot of things, high voltage system. So maybe your company will tell you, Saurabh, you go for high voltage training. Then we'll go for high voltage training. But there should be something more from your side, Saurabh. वो clarity थोड़ा चाहिए होगा. I think you need to have that level of clarity. कि मैं electrical में क्या करना चाहता हूँ, high voltage पे करना चाहता हूँ, safety, quality, validation, testing, repair भी of what kind of systems? I would say, Saurabh, ask your seniors in your company, your HR, and then ask them, okay, what exactly I need to focus on. I think that would be the best solution. Then you talk to my team that this is what I want to do.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's good, Tilak, if you want to go business in EV as a startup, but Tilak, इसमें बहुत पैसा लग सकता है. If you want to start your own startup, you need to have good experience. You need to have good team, Tilak. I know, Tilak, I know you for some time now. I don't know if you're applying for the jobs or not, Tilak. I have to ask my team, Tilak, what is your current state of job search and all? Because generally, Tilak, startup खोलने के लिए ना, you need to have some experience. Either you come to DIYguru and build a proposal and बोलो कि sir, this is a proposal I have. So if you want to have a startup, Tilak, then have a proposal in mind. उस proposal को एक document की form में डालो, and then you come to DIYguru and say that this is my proposal. Otherwise, startup के लिए तो we have more than 20 different ideas, right? किसने startup करेंगे? So we have 20 different ideas in startups. Give a proposal to them. At least make a 1 or 2 page document. Give a proposal that this is what I want to do. यहाँ से हम लोग पैसा कमा सकते हैं. To be very honest, guys, startup हम क्यों करते हैं? Because we want to earn money, right? At the end of the day, if you are doing a business, you need to see कि मैं पैसा कैसे लूँगा. If I am hiring someone, if DIYguru has 20 employees, then I need to pay those 20 employees. Then from where am I going to get the money? So Tilak, you have to work on these areas, and then you come up with the proposal, and then you say, okay, this is my proposal. This is what I'm going to do. DIYguru, you tell me how do I work on that. Proposal बनाओ Tilak, मुझे भेजो mail पर. I'll have a look and then we'll discuss.
Sure,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Okay. So Dilip, I want a roadmap to become R&D engineer. I already hold a patent, a PhD, a certification from Tata. I get. Dilip, अगर इतनी चीजें हैं तो मुझे CV भेजो पहले. Let me see if I have something already for you. Then we'll see something. ठीक है? Send me a CV, Dilip. You have my email ID. मैंने दी है पहले से. You already have a PhD. You already have a patent. I have a certification from Tata. You send me a CV, Dilip. We'll see what we can do together. Because you already seem to be quite qualified. Maybe आपको training की जरूरत ही नहीं है, Dilip. Maybe you just need experience in companies. We'll see what we can do for you then. You send me a CV, Dilip. Okay. Perfect. Guide me service and repair for business. Okay. See, for business, Rohit, service and repair, it depends. For example, Repair Group contacted me right now in the call, right? They said that I usually already have centers. When you have centers already, the investment is quite less. Investment बहुत ज़्यादा कम हो जाती है जब आपके पास सर्विस सेंटर पहले से ही आपको सिर्फ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी सिस्टम्स पे पैसा लगाना पड़ता है, right? So if you already have a center, Rohit, good enough, send me an email. Tell me that Ayush, I already have these centers and I'm working on this segment. And if you do not have, then Rohit, I can connect you with one of my key experts, Mr. Rahul, who is already having a very good business in EV. He is planning to train students on starting in charging station business, not service repair, but charging station. So maybe my team can connect with you how to build up a business in service and repair or charging solution. That can be done, Rohit, because then मैं आपको तभी सिखा पाऊंगा how to work on the business अगर मैं एक successful businessman को लेकर आ पाऊंगा in that session. So I need to have a program, a course where a successful businessman can come to you and say, this is how you do it. I think, Rohit, my team will save your details, and soon, I think there's one very, very intelligent person, Rahul Soni. He works for DIYguru for many, many years, and he has his own startup company. He works at IIT Delhi, a very intelligent person, and now he's working on starting a charging station business. Let me talk to him and see if he has anything to offer for anyone, not just Rohit, Pakio Klevi, if he has anything to offer who want to go into the charging station business, because they develop charging stations and they are looking for charging station business training and all. So let me talk to them, okay? Prabhu, I'll come back to you. Just give me 2 days max, okay? I'll come back to you for sure. Ashutosh, I'm a pre-final year student in mechanical. Give me a roadmap for better package. Depend karta, Ashutosh, what you know right now. ऐसे type of question में ना, Ashutosh, when you directly look for a job, always try to connect with the team with your current CV and resume. And you should be like, this is what I can do. मेरे college में campus placements हो रही है, नहीं हो रही है, I'm able to get the job or not. And then the team would be able to help you. Because in mechanical engineering, Ashutosh, if you are good with Altair, ANSYS, SolidWorks, in तीनों में से if you are good with any two, like very good, you'll get the job with a good package. Good package matlab what engineers expect, right? When you have above 3.5, 4 or something for a fresher. But in a technical R&D role, it's a good start. जब मेरी पहली बार लगी थी, I got the package of 2.25 LPA, 15,000 per month. But I was very happy because मैंने इंडियन आर्मी के साथ प्रोजेक्ट किया था आईटी दिल्ली में. So मेरे लिए वो बहुत अच्छा जॉब था. It was pure research and development. So it depends, like which role you are looking for. So for a good package, that's not very difficult, Ashutosh. But as I said, Altair, ANSYS, SolidWorks. You have to be very good with any two of these three. In तीन में से किसी दो में you have to be very good. If you are good enough with SolidWorks and ANSYS, with SolidWorks with Altair with ANSYS, you'll get good opportunities. I'm very confident. For fresher, two softwares are more than enough. Okay. If you join nano degree program, Shubham, you don't have to worry about the placement part. I don't know what you're expecting in terms of the salary and all, but जितना मुझे पता है, students apply नहीं कर रहे, हमारी jobs waste जा रही हैं. Just email HR@DIYguru, send them your CV और बोलो मुझे job के लिए apply करना है. They will immediately start discussing with you for the, what do you say, for the placement activities. Because अभी हमारे पास students actually कम पढ़ रहे हैं और हमें कंपनी को कुछ बोलना पड़ रहा है कि क्या हुआ, बच्चे अप्लाई क्यों नहीं कर रहे. So if you are already part of nano degree, मुझे CC रख लो and contact HR@DIYguru and CC me Ayush@DIYguru. Send your CV. हाँ, ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने एक भी कोर्स नहीं किया, 2-3 कोर्स करके बैठ गए, you don't have a skill set. वो सब नहीं होना चाहिए. But if you have certain skill set, nano degree should not be a problem. Sure. Trust me, मुझे CC रखो, HR@DIY contact करो, make your CV and बोलो I'm looking for the job. They actually have many open JDs as in job descriptions. Okay. I'm currently learning vehicle design. हाँ बोलो आशुतोष कुछ बोलो.
प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए अगर मैं प्री फाइनल ईयर स्टूडेंट हूँ तो.
I'm very sorry Ashutosh, but I'm not able to hear you. I think आपका इंटरनेट इतना अच्छा नहीं है. Maybe you can write in the chat box. सब ज़्यादा better रहेगा because your voice is not at all coming properly. Okay, Kota is saying I'm learning vehicle design. Please guide me in integrating EV. If you want to integrate EV, it means you are saying you want to work with the hardware systems also. I don't know if you're already a student of DIYguru or not, but then you have to get some exposure to the hardware part with the powertrain level. Vehicle powertrain is very important. Vehicle design is a very big domain. Whether you're working on the electrical design, mechanical design, you're working on the controlled design, क्या करना चाह रहे हो? It's a very vast domain. Vehicle design is a very big segment. Kota, if you can narrow it down further for yourself, okay, not for me, but for yourself, this is what I want to do. In vehicle design, में मुझे ये चीजें करनी है. For example, I want to work on the powertrain system. Then powertrain में क्या आ जाता है? How the motor controller works, how the vehicle control unit is working. Generally, vehicle design में वो लोग काम करते हैं जिनको ECU अच्छे से आता है. That is the, or the VCU अच्छे से आता है. VCU नया term है, that is the vehicle control unit or electric control unit. If you can program a VCU, if you can diagnose a VCU, if you can build your own VCU prototypes, then generally vehicle design is actually a very good domain. I'm telling you, if you want to say I'm very good with vehicle design and integrating EV, you are indirectly saying I want to work on the VCU part, I believe. Because VCU he helps to integrate करता है, right? It is integrating all the systems. ARM Cortex-M is basically one of the most sophisticated controllers. जिसमें DIYguru भी work करता है. So ARM Cortex, yes, you get it right. You actually got it right. ARM Cortex is the vehicle control system. It is basically the controller where you work in terms of the embedded design. You have 7-year experience, service engineer, good enough, Raj. I think you don't need to have a lot of training. Just do some 6 to 8 weeks of training in the electric vehicle part, and that is good enough. Okay. अगर आपके पास 7 साल का पहले एक्सपीरियंस है, just get some specific certification. अगर DIY नहीं दे पा रहा, there are some collaborations I have. They can also help you, but I'm sure DIY will also be able to help you on that. Some specific certification. If you are in service engineer, 7-year experience, specific certification which can say you can work good with the high voltage system, or you can work with the electric systems. Just that. Maybe 4 हफ्ते का, 6 हफ्ते का. That's all what you need. Not more than that. So just talk to the team और बोलो कि मुझे specific service domain में चाहिए, that too for a 4 to 6 week, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. I will not recommend you कि आप फिर से चीजें वो करो, दोबारा से सीखो. That's not required. Okay. Okay, I'm very tired now. मैं बस एक दो क्वेश्चन और लूंगा ना, उसके बाद you can ask your question to my team and they will share your answer questions to me. Suraj, you graduated BCom for last 8 years. You're working in MNC. If you want to go with EV, don't go with engineering, Suraj. You already have 8 years now. 8 years के बाद engineering में जाओगे, fresher की तरह count होंगे, कोई value नहीं होगी. Better है if you are going, if you are already working in corporate job, MNC as a BCom, I think आप कुछ admins या कुछ support systems like that या कुछ business management के ऊपर काम कर रहे होंगे maybe. Then go for EV systems, but in the consulting domain, you can go in the. There are many technical managerial roles which you can go for, Suraj, but don't go for engineering. Look at the curriculum carefully, Suraj, and agar nahi ho pa raha, go for the business management course. That is better. But don't go for EV development. That will not help you, to be very honest. Business management help karega for sure. The business management course of EV, but not the engineering part. I'm very sorry, guys. I have to stop now. You have to ask these questions.
सर मेरा आंसर दे दीजिए प्लीज.
क्या है तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन बिलाल? तुमने को पोस्ट किया है अभी क्वेश्चन?
यस सर, मैंने पिक किया है.
We walk telematics. I know how to read data from sensor, the ESP, Arduino. See, बिलाल, Arduino पहली बात तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और एम्बेडेड है ही नहीं. Arduino बहुत ही इनिशियल लेवल पर है, right? Doesn't matter whether you are a BTech student or not. If you are working into the sensor part, you have to go to the actual embedded. ESP Arduino embedded है ही नहीं. Arduino उन्होंने बनाया, सी Arduino बनाया इसलिए गया था ताकि स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स को प्रैक्टिस हो पाए. मैंने भी Arduino फर्स्ट ईयर में किया था बीटेक के, फिर छोड़ दिया था, दोबारा कभी किया ही नहीं. So Arduino is only for school level student या BTech first year, second year max. If you wanna go into sensor part, फिलहाल there is just one thing you can do. Embedded सीखो, ARM Cortex सीखो, cloud computing सीखो, basic, ज़्यादा deep नहीं, and then try to see how do you get the data from your embedded to the cloud, और cloud से extract कैसे करते हैं. इतना सीखने पे you will get enough opportunities. Okay, but Arduino वगैरह will not help you.
Hey, hi sir, I have a last question for you. Please answer to me.
बोलो निलेश.
Yeah, actually I'm not actually the technical background. I'm actually the management student, but which way actually I can actually explore into a EV consulting management, which you have just said to someone actually I heard that. So can you just give me a brief so I can reach out to your team and
Yes, so Nilesh, if you're working into a non-technical field, then there are many areas where you can help the companies in terms of the EV consulting, which are more towards the operations, managerial activities, B2B outreach, dealership model, service collaboration. There are many areas, Nilesh, where you can target. They do not need engineers, but they need people with EV knowledge. That is very important. So
and how can actually go in that flow where I can get the EV knowledge as a
you have to do some market analysis, Nilesh. You have to look for some 20-25 jobs which are looking for non-engineers in this segment. And then you have to find out the job requirements, and then you have to prepare a list of top 10 skill sets these jobs are looking for. And then you know that what I need to do in order to go into this field. So you really need to find out what are the specific requirements. There must be some specific requirements these companies are looking for. I can give you a few, but even I don't know all the requirements for non-engineering background candidates. So you have to do some market analysis, and then you have to make a very nice list. ChatGPT can help you, and then you can say, then you can come back to us and say that these are the 10 skills these companies are hiring for non-engineers, but in the EV segment. And then you say, okay, I need these areas, these skill sets. How do I get that? Then we will go one step closer.
Okay, then fine, sir. I'll actually Googling at my own, and I'll just share the list with your team, and then we can just connect.
Try to do some market analysis. Market analysis is a very important thing.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Sampath, if you're looking for some opportunities in India and you already have 7 years of experience, try to send me a CV already, okay? You have my email ID. I want to see what you have already done. and then we'll see what can be done. Because then if you have, see guys, if you already have experience in EV, maybe you don't need training in EV. If you are already a working professional, see, if you're a working professional but you're not good with EV, then you need training. But if you're already good with EV, then maybe you don't need training. You need some more guidance or mentorship, right?
Hello, Ayush. Yeah, thank you so much. But the issue that I'm facing right now is not able to, get any calls from the recruiters. So that's where I'm.
I would need to
slightly
look at your
worried.
CV, Sampath, first. Now you send me a CV.
I'll send you that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that would be much more helpful for me. Okay, guys, I have to end the call now. I'm sorry. मेरा गला actually दर्द हो रहा है. And sorry if I missed your question. Unintentionally miss हुआ है. But I'm very happy. It was a good session. I hope you all did enjoy. And इतना आसान नहीं होता. To be very honest, career build करना, I know that. But there is a very defined way to do that. And it requires a lot of planning. Planning के साथ चलो ज़्यादा better है. I know बोलना आसान है, करना मुश्किल है. We are all exploring. मैं भी explore कर रहा हूँ. We all are exploring our journeys. But try to make a goal, and then I would say that's the best part. But look for what companies are trying to work on. अगर आप doctorate वगैरह हो, then already you have something in hand. But अगर आप fresher हो, you have less experience, you have time to grow yourself. And Prabhu, I'll come back to you in the next 2 days for sure. Okay. Thank you guys for your time. And okay, thank you guys. Bye.
Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for
Thanks.
joining today's special masterclass. Big thank you, Mr. Ayush Sharma, co-founder and CTO of DIYguru and researcher in Germany, for sharing his valuable knowledge. A quick reminder: we are offering one-on-one career consultation where you can connect our experts and get guidance. So I can share chat box. Also, please make sure submit attendance form. Once again, big thank you everyone being a part of this learning journey. Wish you all the very best. Prepare for exciting opportunity in EV industry. Have a wonderful evening.